2 short weeks away, and Rumpure Sports is gearing up for the season with the best deal in DFS.
For a limited time only, we are offering new members a 15% discount for the life of their subscription, including SaberSim subs. Simply use the promo code NFL15 when subscribing to take advantage of this great deal before our prices go up.
And at RPS, we don't just give you access to one sport. When you subscribe to our premium service, we give you access to all of our content, including NFL, NBA, MLB, PGA, and so much more.
And we're not going to charge extra for access to our preseason content either. Our memberships include all of our content, including the NFL preseason. The best DFS players in the industry give you access to their core plays and slate strategies for every sport and for every slate. Simplify your lineup building process by plugging in picks directly from the top players in the world. Watch our premium live streams to gain a huge edge on the competition. Our guys are live up to lock for the biggest slates, walking you through their last-minute decisions, analyzing breaking news and injury alerts for the major sports.
Again, for a limited time only, you can access our industry-leading DFS content for 15% off our already low price. SaberSim packages are included, so sign up today using the promo code NFL15 for 15% off your subscription for life and start building winning lineups today.
Oh, yeah, baby. We are back and live here for the Rumpure Sports Showdown Edition Print Factory Series. I'm your host, as usual, on a Thursday, JSU, with my guys, Toe Tag and Tambo, and Mr. Big T talking the Showdown slate for Thursday Night Football, the Rams and the Bills. Can't wait to get started with you guys. Hit the like button, though, first. To begin, hit the subscribe button, that bottom red box in the right-hand corner. Get subscribed to the channel. But we got big things happening over at Rumpure Sports. Promo code NFL15. If you haven't gotten in with us to Rumpure, get in with us now. Rumpure with us. And now with that, I got to bring in my co-host, Mr. Toe Tag and Tambo. What's up, baby? How we doing?
Doing good. We're back, baby. Like you said, football, anything talking football is great. Big T mentioned on the pre-show before we hopped on. Love that it's back. Love the season. And what a game to kick us off, right? We got the Bills versus the Rams. A true island game would be the Island Boys, maybe. You know, Sunday, Monday kind of blend together. We got this Thursday night crew that we're always going to be together. Want to get this show out to you guys early, get it out for free. Gonna be more stuff to go through. I'll leave you to the goodies there, JSU. I know you got some good stuff to give away, but good to be back with you boys for sure. Excited to talk some football.
Yeah, I can't wait. What a game to get us kick-started. Tony, I know we've talked about this already a little bit, but Rams-Bills, I mean, just kicking us off with a gem of a game, really.
Yeah, it's so nice to have, like these guys just talked about, have football back in our lives, showdown. It's the format that we've all fallen in love with, and it started with football. You got one game, you can pick the game script, you can kind of go a million different directions. It's my favorite format, and we couldn't start with a better game. The defending champs in LA versus the most popular team of the year, the Buffalo Bills. So everything you could want. We got, I don't know what's the biggest. Is it a Millie Maker tomorrow?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Millie Maker.
Got millions.
$10, $5, $10.
$10 on DraftKings, and then we got a $9 on FanDuel with, I'm pretty sure, yeah, they got $1 million to first too. So I mean, we got 2 Millie Makers. Not much more you could want, right, Big T? Seriously, you love this format. A reason you loved it is because you've had a lot of success over the years in this format. And I think one of the reasons why is because, and we'll get in your process a little because I want to get both your guys' process out, but you're just not afraid to take big stands, and you do it in all sports. But I think in Showdown, the uniqueness that comes into building, I think is just, it fits your style. It really does. It fits exactly. So when you hit, you ship everything. And that's what you want in Showdown. You want to build unique winners, right? It's not just about building the optimal all the time in those Millie Makers. You want to build teams that are going to be unique, give you a chance to ship solo. And if not solo, maybe there's 2 or 3 or 4 people, but that's the goal, right? You want to build unique winners. And I think that's something you've always done really well. And that's why the format just fits your style. But, anything else?
Yeah, I mean, I think as the year goes, we did it all three of us last year together. Obviously, we'll be here all year again on Thursdays. And yeah, we'll get into the strategy. The nice part about showdowns, every game's different. It's like a new script, no matter what. Some nights we might lock in a captain on all the teams. Other days, maybe we spread it around a little bit. Other days, maybe you pick two different scripts. My favorite part of like main slates, it's always the same thing. You try to find your favorite stacks. You try to figure out who your run backs are, who the values are. Don't get me wrong. I love main slates too, especially football, but it's still similar. You're attacking slates the same way. Showdowns, you just have so much opportunity to be different. And what I love is if you like, and this is just literally throwing a name out there, but say you love Dawson Knox or something tomorrow, you just have a chance to get so far above the field. And when he catches 3 touchdowns, you might win all the money, just every contest ship. And that's not true in main slates because you got 10 games where one guy goes off in a spot, maybe someone goes off in a different spot. It just doesn't work that way. Don't get me wrong. You'll still have a good week if you hit your calls. Showdown, though, with the way we're going to teach you to build, if you hit your calls, you're going to have a good chance to ship all the money, which we've all had success at on this show over the years. Last year, we didn't do that good, but we're going to bounce back this year. We're going to have some big calls, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah, and Tambo, I want to bring you in because another thing that is key for showdowns is game scripting, right? Because, I mean, showdowns specifically, it's so key. On a larger form, though, like main slates, you try and game script every game, but it's really hard to do, right? But in showdown format, we can focus in one game, single game standard, and you're very good at game scripting. You have a game plan attack that we have on the site for the premium members over at Rumpier Sports. And maybe just give everyone an insight into that slate plan attack that you give to the people.
Yeah, I love doing it. It helps me out a ton. Usually a lot of the stuff that I do is trying to help others, but it ends up helping me with my process in between. And that's what we started it is because I don't think you ever have to go like Big T loves doing it. And that's his thing. I never want to go all in on a slate like one way. Sometimes I'll like 75 lineups, this example, 75, this. I never do like the 20, 20, 20, 20. Like that's just a waste of your time, in my opinion, because then you're trying to cover too many angles. But I don't got any problem chopping up a slate 2 ways or 3 ways, 50, 50, 50, something like that. So I like to set it up that way. That's what the slate attack plan is all about. How am I taking on this slate? Are there different cores that go with different slate strategies? Our boys in the chat are always talking about it. It's not who you play, it's how you play them. In this case, it's similar, but it's with the game script. It's not necessarily, you'll end up on different guys or different patterns based on the game script you play out and put the game after it. And then like Big T said, just perfectly, that the player pool is just so much smaller. You're working with like 30, 40 guys, if that, and you can cut out some really big ones right off the top. And you just need 1 or 2 things to go your way. And you can be in great shape for a big top prize. And like you said, JSU, if $1 million up top, I mean, chop it up 10 ways, you're getting 6 figures plus. How often are people winning 6 figures? Not very often. So I'm not trying to aim for that. I'm trying to get the whole thing. But I'm saying when you got a slate like this, it works twofold. One, the chop is okay if it's 10 or less. So try and aim for that. We'll talk about some strategies on that throughout the show. Secondly, it's like when you're building, be willing to take these risks. In that $10 tournament tomorrow, there's 355,000 people. When, 20% at captain or 15% at captain, that is a ton of lineups that you're going up against. And then a lot of them end the same. So be some good strategy talk, I think, throughout this show when we get talking captains and guys that we're using and how we're using them.
Love it. And we got some things. I see Matty Ice in the chat. He says, glad to have me back and congrats again. Thank you very much, Matty Ice. I appreciate you. But we see some people in chat, wish this was premium. And I will just say the first show, we wanted to get it out free a day early for the people to kind of tell everyone what we got going on. And we're going to be doing a bunch of stuff throughout the year, but definitely this week one, where on some of our main shows, like this show and shows later on in the week, the main Slate Print Factory, maybe the Saturday Million Maker show, the Wood show, we're going to be giving away tickets to our members in the Discord. So that's something we're going to be doing, ticket giveaways. And Tony, I don't know if you just want to like talk about that real quick, because we wanted to give back to the members for people who have signed up. And if you haven't signed up, get in, sign up, use the code NFL15, get you 15% off for life, as long as you stay with the subscription. And get in there and get in the Discord, because we're going to be doing a lot of ticket giveaways, especially this week 1.
Yeah, and just a side note too, before the tickets, even just because the shows are free, like we're going to break down the stuff, but the premium is still there. My full player pool, JSU's cores and stuff, Tambo's 3 max strategies, and the stuff he was putting on the site last year for Showdown too, plus the playbook, plus all the other stuff. So there's going to be tons of premium stuff too for people, just the members to get. This is more of just talking through the slate, come up with a little bit of a plan. There's going to be plenty of premium stuff too, so make no mistake about it. And like JSU said, we're going to do giveaways this whole week, because we want to get people on the site. We want to use that promo code, but we also want to take care of our members, both new and old. New members will have just as good of a chance to hit these tickets as the old members. Only requirement, you have to be in the Discord. We'll give those away. Definitely 4, 5, 6 tickets over the next 5 days or 4 days. What are we till kickoff now? 4 days?
Yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We got after today.
4 more sleeps, Big T.
4 more sleeps. That's the way to put it. The sleeps was what I was looking for. I always love that on Twitter, the sleep. 4 sleeps until Sunday. We'll give away at least 4 tickets before Sunday. And by tickets, we don't mean like the $20 ones. We'll give maybe some Wildcat tickets or something, like 4 or 333 Wildcats, or we'll figure it out this afternoon. But either way, the next 4 days, we're going to give away tickets every single day. Just to members, though. You got to be in the Discord. We'll figure out the details. We will let you know later today at some point, but we love doing that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah, these are going to be some big boy tickets, not the $10 or $20 tickets. We're going to be giving away some big boy tickets this week, so stay tuned for that. We'll let you guys know. The prices are
going up. I didn't talk about that. Like, now's the time to sign up. I'm not saying it's a sales pitch. I mean, I kind of am, but I'm not in the same way. Prices are going up. Next week, you won't be able to get on there for less than $100 for a month. This week, sign up. I don't know the exact price with the 15%, but maybe $65, $70 for that cheapest rate. It's going to be over $100 next week. So you're saving a lot of money. You get that discount forever too. As long as you stay a member, you get that discount no matter what our prices go to. And
I'm pretty sure I was just going to say that it includes the Saber Sim. So, I mean, it literally is a great deal. You get the Run Pure Sports, the DFS package, the whole package for Run Pure. And then you get the Saber Sim package on top of it. If you want to include it, obviously you don't have to, but if you want to use it, you want to try it out. Great optimizer. Saber Sim has a really good product. They're adding to their product.
Run the numbers too. Like, just run the numbers. Like, if you want an optimizer and you want to go sign up at Saber Sim, you're going to pay $90.
Yeah.
You come to Run Pure sign up, you're going to pay $80 to $100 next week. I mean, you're talking right away. That's $200 almost. You come to our thing, use the discount. You're getting all that for literally like $135 or something just through this week. I'm not just saying, it's just too good of a deal. It's going to be gone next week.
Yep. And listen, we're giving out all our player pool stuff. We'll talk about all the content as we kind of get into it for other stuff, just not the Showdown content, but other stuff that we're going to be doing for NFL. And there's going to be a lot. We got a ton of shows lined up for you guys. We got a ton of content. Me and Tony are going to be doing player pools for main slate NFL's core plays. Tambo's going to have his core plays up for main slate NFL, and all the other guys too. Cash cores, cash chart, playbooks. We got it all over at Run Pure Sports. So sign up now, promo code NFL15. All right. With that, boys, all done. We're going to get into the game right now because I want to talk this game, and we'll just do it from an overview standpoint. You got the Bills, you got the Rams. This game is in Los Angeles, in the Rams, and the line's -2 right now. Obviously, the Bills are favored. What are we seeing here just from an overview standpoint, Tambo? How are you looking at this game? How do you want to approach this slate?
What I'm seeing and how I'm approaching it, definitely going to be two different things. So it's a good question, because what I'm seeing, I can tell you right now, is that, everyone, this game is going to 70 points. Everyone's going to crush. Josh, you're going to need Allen and Cooper Kupp. They're going to score all the points that you need them in captain. You're going to play all these value plays that we've got at the bottom to make it work. So for me, I'm not saying that can't happen, but I'm going to be looking at it from a bit of a different angle. I do think one of the most interesting things coming off sort of this feels like, it's the longest offseason out there. We know that, but it feels like even longer, getting to now to 4 more sleeps. Like we said, feels so good. But when you talk about this, only 1 more sleep to this game, but the Buffalo Bills, right? People have bet them to win the Super Bowl. There's no way they're coming out with a vengeance. They're going to crush. Doesn't matter what the team setup is. They're going to get there and just absolutely smash. We're already talking about going up against the defending champions, the Super Bowl champions on this Thursday night game. So, and Buffalo's missing some pieces tomorrow, or at least one that we can talk about, Tre'Davious White. So I think there's going to be a situation here where I actually kind of like this Rams side. And I'm not talking betting here, but if we added it, if you take that into consideration when you're building your script out, I do like the Rams side. And I think it's, pass catcher heavy slate tomorrow. Over heavy slate tomorrow. I think the best case for the Rams would be to slow it down a little bit and try and keep Josh Allen off the field and stop them from moving the ball. Not saying they can, but I do think that's interesting from the 2.5 point underdog perspective in this spot. So I kind of like the Rams to start things out here. And I kind of think we could see, it never feels good going under on a total like this where the game feels that way, but they start with 0 points, so it doesn't feel too bad. You at least start out that way and see how the game shakes out. So I kind of like that from where I'm seeing it from first thing here, JSU.
All right, interesting. I like that. Tony, what are we seeing here from an overview standpoint with this game? How are you going about approaching the slate?
Yeah, I mean, just in general, I haven't dug super deep into it yet, as we'll kind of go through tonight and tomorrow. But I've heard the same narrative from everybody I've heard, which is only like 7 or 8 people now. But everybody has the same narrative that like everyone's on Buffalo. The Rams are going to be a little sneakier, this and that. I'm worried about the Rams more than other people. I'm worried about Stafford's arm. I'm worried about them being an underdog at home. I know Buffalo's a trendy team. I heard Spread talking on the previous show. He loves the Rams. He's down touching his little undies, trying to get all excited about the Rams. I mean, he loved it. And he's a sharp dude. He's up a bunch of units on the bet side. Check that out. But what makes Rumpier great, sometimes we disagree. I think I'm just all in on the Bills boat this year. I know everyone is. I know it's trendy. I know, believe me, I'm as contrarian as anyone when it comes to this stuff. I just think tomorrow you got the defending champs at home. I don't know if they do the ring stuff like they do in the NBA. Do they? Do we know any of that? Not that it matters.
Is it like a banner or something they do?
Maybe
or
a banner.
Like
maybe that. But either way,
I can't remember.
It's the first game since the Super Bowl. Little bit of an aftershock. I just think the Bills in LA coming off that tough playoff loss. I just can't not jam the Bills in this spot personally. I just think they're just a good team. I look at the Rams guys. I don't like the running backs. Stafford's, you hear all the concerns about his elbow. Obviously I like Cooper Kupp, but when I flip it and I look to the Bills side, I like all the Bills. So I know everyone does. I know they'll be popular. But again, whenever you just jam a team, that is naturally contrarian. Like everyone's going to want to play Stafford and Kupp and these guys too. So there's lots of stuff as we go through the show that can still differentiate us. As far as just the game in general, though, as of right now, I'm on a Bills blowout. Like, I just think the Bills come in and just handle business. Josh Allen starts his MVP campaign and just gets it cooking with these weapons are made. I think Gabe Davis is, again, this is not a contrarian take by any means. Everyone likes him right now. I think he's going to just take a massive leap, though, from the end of last year, and I just think he's going to smash. So if you got him and you got Diggs and you got these running backs and Cook from Georgia, I love him last year. I just think they're loaded. McKenzie and even guys like Crowder, I think could be kind of sneaky tomorrow because no one's going to want to play him. So for me, we'll talk about strategies as we go. I'm definitely on the Bills side. Even if I think that's chalky, I just think I can do stuff to be different. Not play Stafford and Kupp together, I think is a little bit unique, stuff like that. So for me, Bills.
All right. So I'll give my take. I kind of love what you just said right there, Tony. And it's similar to mine. And we haven't talked about this game yet. So I'm glad that we kind of see this game similar. I put a big bet on the Bills. I think the Bills are going to run away with this game. I think that there's certain upgrades that they made, specifically getting Saffold and Quisenberry on that offensive line. Two guys that were from Tennessee, two of their best run blockers that was on a line that had really good run blockers as a team. They ran the ball obviously really well with Derrick Henry. And now they're coming over and now they're on the Bills. And so the Bills get two of the better offensive linemen, especially from a rush standpoint. And I think the Bills are going to be so much better running the ball even than last year. I think they're going to show people this year. And then on the other side of the offensive line, Andrew Whitworth, who was by far their main offensive lineman, their best offensive lineman for the Rams, he retired. Left tackle's gone. No boom moves over there to left tackle. And he's fine, but still, that's a big drop off. And then you get the running backs. And is Cam Akers, is he healthy? Is he not healthy? He's kind of, obviously he's going to say he feels fine and he's going to show people, which is, I think, what he said. And I forget what the quote was, but I read it yesterday.
He said, you'll see tomorrow. He said, I'm not saying that to like prove to you. He just said, you'll see tomorrow that I'm healthy. So I'm excited about that too.
Well, so we will see, but the point is that is he going to be full go? And if so, it's still a downgrade losing Whitworth to that offensive line. So I think the Bills' defense is really good. That secondary's really, really rock solid. Even without White, they still got two of the better safeties, Mika and Poyer. Like, I just think this team overall is loaded, like Tony said. And I think two, like, I'm betting them all day at 2.5, whatever it is. I think the Bills run away with it. They win by 2 touchdowns, I think, honestly. That's how I see this game going. And I'm going to be building my lineups accordingly. It's nice to see that Tony is kind of on board with the Bills big. Hate going against my guy Spread. Tambo, it seems like you might be on the Rams a little too. But
I mean, Spread needed to change his undies after that earlier show. He was so happy about his Rams.
Well, I'll back about. I mean, I didn't see all of it, but I just think at the same time, like it's so easy. Like the Bills just got to win by a field goal. It's like, it's old school. It doesn't, again, we're talking a showdown DFS slate. There is plenty of ways to get unique. Big T brought it up earlier. 5-1. If you build a 5-1 Bills tomorrow, no matter how chalky it seems, with leaving some salary, again, don't build the obvious one that comes, I didn't do the math, but 49.9 version of it. Cause then, you will be chopping it up most likely, but there's plenty of ways to get different and do that. And not enough people go that way. It's the same when we talk in PGA slates. We've got on these free shows throughout the season, talking about building all AM guys or all PM wave stacks, where everyone's like, but everyone's doing that. They're not. They're just not. And that's the same with these 5-1s. So I don't hate it from that angle. Like I said, that's always a way to attack it. I kind of like if, I could hedge out a little bit with like a bet, like get an alternate spread or something like that. If you want to just do that, it's either the Bills. I think you guys are right. It's either that happens though, or I think it's the other way completely. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. I think way less will be on that Rams side, aside from Cooper Kupp. And the reason is because Stafford with the potential noodle arm, and that's in the news. The Akers factor that you brought up, the fact that Akers is there with Henderson already to expect to be a timeshare, where you've got these situational things where it's just really hard to figure out. And I think there's a lot of angles that you can take from that side that will make you more unique. The biggest thing though, JSU, will be this captain situation where you've got, Allen, quarterback and the captain. I mean, it works fine. You can do it. You can stack it up, but he looks really popular because of his dual threat ability. And then also Kupp on the other side. You've got these two super expensive captains. So I guess that's probably the best place to start, because that's where you got to really figure out a way to get different. If you're going with them, they're both probably going to be 15% or higher in the captain tomorrow.
I agree, and that's where we will start. And we'll talk DraftKings and FanDuel because there obviously is a little bit of difference between the two sites. But let's just start at the top. We'll start with the captains, like Tambo said. We'll talk about Josh Allen and Cooper Kupp because, I mean, Tony, I'll come right to you first. That is everyone's decision point, especially if they're making one lineup, 3 lineups. Josh Allen, Cooper Kupp, you know what I mean? And it's different if you're building in the Millie Maker than if you're building in probably like a smaller field, almost like 100, 200 man, like where you can be a little more towards like an optimal style team. But how are you looking at that right now, just at the top? Because the way I see it, quarterback on the team that everyone likes to go to the Super Bowl, and then you got the guy who was the best player in fantasy football last year. So what are we doing with these two?
Yeah, I just don't like Cup as much as the field this year. And that's going to sound like a crazy take because everyone loves him and he was the best player last year. And by saying I don't like him as much, that doesn't mean I think he's not going to do good. I just think his price is higher than Josh Allen's, and that's just not correct. That is not the correct price point. And no matter what you think, like Josh Allen just like so they're the same price. In theory, they should have a similar projection and stuff. I would bet Josh Allen over him every single time. I think I would be very successful with that. Sure, Cup is going to outscore him at times, but man, his price is just so high that you need 30 points from him at that price point. And on top of it, he's going to be popular. I mean, he might be 20% captain or something, 15, 20% captain, probably 80% overall. So immediately, without getting into that much strategy, he's one that I could see myself even fading a little bit just to be different. But obviously, you're not going to full fade someone like that most times. It would just be a way to get you different. I mean, he's 80% owned. Allen Robinson, I think, has to hurt him at least a little bit. Allen Robinson is better than their number twos last year. He's going to demand more targets. He's just a better number two. So he has to get at least a little bit of that work. So, I mean, it's Josh Allen for sure for me. But the interesting part about the showdown slates is always just the ownership. I mean, all of the captain ownership is going to go to these top guys, mainly Allen and Cup, but also Stafford and Diggs. So you got both quarterbacks and both number ones. I mean, they're going to soak up 60% of the ownership or so, just looking at my raw numbers. So you're talking the rest of the field combined, 5% here, 6% here, 4% here. So you can play anyone else in the game and get them under 10% captain. That is interesting to me because we got a lot of guys. I just talked about Allen Robinson. He's never really played with a quarterback or an offense that can get him involved. He's going to be low owned in the captain. Gabe Davis, who I already said is like my favorite play, maybe in the entire NFL this year, as far as where he's considered, he's going to be under 10% owned captain. And we've seen his upside. I mean, in a couple of the last weeks, the dude went for 50. So like he's got as much upside as anyone. Singletary, the end of last year, was underrated every single week. Now with Cook coming in, everyone thinks Cook's going to get some work, me included, because of how good I think Cook is. But how sneaky is Singletary going to be when his price is the same as Gabe Davis and Allen Robinson, and he's cheaper than Akers in that range? I mean, you just don't have the salary to pay for him when you're playing Josh Allen. So Singletary is going to be crazy low owned. There's just a lot of ways to go. It's a great game, but in general, at the top, it's Josh Allen for me. I'll definitely have above the field. It's kind of like golf too, where it's not you still want to come up with a script, but in the captain specifically, as long as I'm way above the field, kind of similar to our golf approach, like if I think Josh Allen will be 20 to 25% captain, which I do, maybe I play 50% Josh Allen in the captain and just get above that. The good part about playing people like him, it's really hard for him to hurt you that bad in that spot. Yeah, you might not have the total nuts, but he just keeps the lineup moving. Whereas if you get more risky, sometimes you can just get totally boat raced. So for me, Josh Allen, Diggs, Gabe Davis would be my like captain looks.
All right. Yeah. And just a couple side notes too, before I swing it over to you, Tambo. I see WW in the chat. He says Rams have won every opener with Sean McVay as the coach. So there's a trend that maybe people will go to that maybe will keep them off the Bills. I don't know. It doesn't really affect me at all, but I don't know if that is saying anything. I didn't know that though. So that was a little piece of news that I had no idea about. So thanks, WW.
Tambo. Well, one thing Tambo brought up that's the best point though of the whole show so far is ownership in this though. Like the Rams guys just can't be owned outside of Cup, Stafford, Robinson. No one else can be owned really. So like that where he's the best at bringing up roster construction.
I'll throw one thing in there though, Tony. So what if Van Jefferson is ruled out and third receiver is cheap, which I would assume they all are.
The problem is, though,
or like
whoever it is isn't going to be more popular than McKenzie in the same range.
Tutu's 1,000 and Ben Skowronek or whatever his name is 1,800. And the Rams last year played, I think it was something like 80%, 11 personnel, which means 3 wide receivers, I'm pretty sure. So they played like 85 or 80%, 11 personnel. So that's the personnel you'll probably see a lot of. So that means that one of those receivers is going to be on the field, most likely, even if Van Jefferson is out. I don't know exactly which one, but I'm just saying.
They just can't be owned, though.
I just think, I think he's right. But I think also, to your point, JSU, it'll spread it a little bit off of McKenzie. McKenzie's the most popular value play from what I can see right now. It just looks like it's going to stay that way. That's where I'm saying I think people will start to either make mistakes in whatever their script is, or just in general where they're putting too much of that into their lineup and almost now it's hard to say over leveraging their lineup when we're talking about a tournament for $10 with 355,000 people. You can kind of do whatever you want, but I think just going back to Big T's point, like if you look at that captain between Allen and Kupp, like Allen has him by like 10 points, I think. And a lot of the cases, I think it's like he'd be like a touchdown favorite in props. So I think like you still have to think about that. Even if I like the Rams side, you could go Josh Allen in the captain with a Diggs and then run it and then run 4, do those 2-4 builds that we were talking about last year, run 4 Rams, which is a heavier build to the Rams side still. And Josh Allen could do it all. Maybe he snakes a touchdown at the line, sneaks one in. Maybe he, hits Diggs for a bunch of yardage and a touchdown that way. And then next is everything else coming back the other way. So I think there's, one thing to note for that. Van Jefferson's obviously the thing we're keeping an eye on, but for me, the thing that stands out because, to round up the captain position, if we're going to keep adding on here, is that like people keep talking about cheap captains. Seen a lot of people talk about McKenzie. See a lot of people talking about trying to find the Atwalls or those guys to make it all work. Again, do whatever you want. 355,000 people in the tournament. I don't like that strategy at all. Tomorrow, again, this is a free show. We're giving it all away this week for once. It's guess why? Because even if you get it right, you end up with all the same dudes everyone else got. Congrats. When you get McKenzie in the captain, guess what you get? You get Stafford, you get Allen, you get Kupp, you get whatever you want, and one more punt. You're not getting that 10-way chop or less like we talked about earlier. You're ending up on a lot of the same builds. The way I would like to do it, that I don't see it as too cute. I think it's something that's very possible while not going too crazy and getting off the board and still being able to end up unique. To Big T's point earlier, look at this captain ownership. We got so much of it on Allen, Kupp, Diggs, Stafford, and then the sneakier ones are Davis and Robinson, coming in just under 10%. Did I name one running back? No. So do we have running backs? Yes. You already talked about it. Singletary from your side could score 3 touchdowns or 2 touchdowns and cause the Rams to have to go off. You got Akers and Henderson, who you can take chances on. You don't need to go to the Cook for cheap. You can use Cook as the guy that they're throwing it to on third downs if they get into trouble in your flex. I'm just saying nobody's really going to these running backs very heavy in the captain slot. And now you're going off the top 5 or 6 owned captains that you're still going to use a bunch of them in flex. Now I can have Allen and Kupp or Allen and Stafford or whatever I want to have in flex, but have a different setup up top and just hope when they get down, they bang it in with the running backs more often than they do with the pass catching that everyone sees as like a no-brainer here. They'll pick up PPR points, don't get me wrong, but I'm saying in captain, you're looking for that outlier. And if you can get lower ownership of the captain, there's no need to go down or have to worry about your fades and all that. You're putting them into the flex anyway. So that's how I'm looking at it, as a little bit of a different way to go up top and captain.
Yep.
I kind of like the running backs too. I'm not going to lie. And I know that's where people are going to be afraid to play these guys on both sides too. I'm not just talking I think people are going to be afraid, one, that Cam Akers isn't healthy. Darrell Henderson, do they split time? Does Darrell Henderson, because the Rams have done like the, one main guy for years. When their guys are healthy, they normally have one running back that gets the full load. They're one of those teams. But then there was talk, do they split them? Is Cam Akers healthy? So I think that keeps people from those guys. And then I love the Bills running game just as a whole. I think the Bills running game could end up being the surprise at the end of the year when it's all said and done. That run game could be the best run game in all of football, as a unit.
Just one quick note too on that, because with the Singletary thing, I know Big T brought it up earlier, but to round out the season last year, 6, 5, 4, 3, he was getting targets in all those games. You could have like a Singletary with Allen and still get your stuff on the other way where it's coming back that other way. And that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, you know, talking chat about Kupp ain't going to do well. We're saying he might not do as well as you think in the captain. You can still use him in the flex. That's what people misunderstand, right? We're talking about captain ownership where he's pushing 20%. You'd be able to have him in the flex still. And if he puts up 20 points, it may not be good enough for the captain slot at that price. Remember, we play a salary-based game as well, right? So got to keep that in mind. So that's just a note on Singletary. And then 2 guys right quick, JSU, we didn't talk about is, and there's multiples when we get to the cheap guys later, but Higbee, and then today, Mr. Dawson Knox, both those guys, new contracts within the last 7 days. Both those guys fired up to get out there, and they're making their money now. So go get after it, prove your worth. And that's what I think we're going to see here. So those guys are more than capable as well, especially on the Higbee side of things, where you've got the Van Jefferson situation. If he's out, they can pump even more targets to him. On the Buffalo side with Knox, he's already a favorite of Josh Allen's. And now you've got different guys that aren't with the team any longer, that where everyone's just given all of that to Diggs or McKenzie or Davis. Well, that could slip up. It might not be McKenzie or Davis. It might end up being Dawson Knox. It's one game, one slate tomorrow. So they're not getting talked about for the captain either. Looking at like 3 or 4% for those guys in the captain. So I'm just saying there's running backs and tight ends, I think, are a way to be sneaky without being too cute. That's what I'll say. And potentially unique.
And I think Dawson Knox, you want to talk about, so you talked about how he's a favorite of Josh Allen, but he was a touchdown monster last year. When he had big games, there was 2 touchdown games in Dawson Knox. And he was looked at when they got into the red zone all the time. He was one of Josh Allen's favorite when they got down close, and he's a touchdown monster. He can have big games at that spot for a cheaper price. So I like that idea. Tony, what do you think as we get kind of lower into the range? Because you talked about Gabe Davis and Steph Diggs. I think those are people everyone's going to play. What about this mid-range? And as we get into the cheap kind of area, what are you thinking about here?
Yeah, I mean, while you guys are bringing up all these good points, I'm sitting here laughing at the dude in chat because he's in here like, oh, you can't fade Cooper Kupp. First of all, learn how to spell Kupp's name if you're going to make fun of me. Don't keep spelling it with a freaking C because you look like a freaking donkey, Christopher. But this is why we love showdown formats. You can do whatever the hell you want, and I don't care what anyone says. You can fade anybody in showdown. Cooper Kupp's going to be 80% owned. Are we saying the dude's going to get 6 fantasy points? No. But what happens when he gets hurt? What happens when he gets no touchdowns? What happens when there's so many things that can happen? What if he rolls an ankle and 80% of the field gets 1? Yeah, we're not rooting on an injury. That's not what I'm saying, if that's what you hear. But if he does get injured and you faded him, 80% of the field is gone. Yeah. Our whole goal is to try to win $1 million tomorrow night or a share of $1 million. Sure. Is Cooper Kupp a great play? Absolutely. You're looking at it the wrong way. And that's why we love Showdown, us 3 doing these shows, because people can't wrap their mind around, yes, Cooper Kupp's a good play. Everyone freaking knows that.
9 for 85 is still likely, but he costs almost $20,000 in the captain. Like if he goes 9 for 85 at $20K, it doesn't guarantee you shit. And you've got him. You can put him in the flex. We're talking about captains here.
Who's to say if he goes? But Tambo, who's to say if he goes 9 for 85, even if he catches a touchdown plus 9 for 85, who's to say Josh Allen doesn't go for 40? Right. I mean, he did it like 4 times.
The point is, though, the ultimate point of everything in Showdown, you got to be able to think outside the box. It's why it's always worked for me. It's why it's my favorite format. You just can't be against it. You guys could literally say anything to me, and I would at least give it. It doesn't mean you have to agree. You could play Cooper Kupp and the captain on every team tomorrow, and I could be fine with that too. It's the best part about Showdown. Just pick your script and freaking go with it. It could be anything.
I am fine with that. There will be very sharp players tomorrow that lock in Kupp and say, I'm rolling with it. That's my guy tomorrow. There'll be sharp players that lock in Josh Allen because of what we said, where to me, he projects like a touchdown in fantasy points better than Cooper Kupp. But my point would be, at least then they're taking their stand We're talking about our stand. And that's why when you come on Run Pure Sports and you can get the premium stuff, we have Slate attack plans, we have cores, we break down why we're doing this stuff. So if you guys can do me a favor right quick, one thing I was noticing, I love pushing this when I'm on these shows, we're doing this show for free. It really helps us with, it's an algorithm thing. The more likes, the better, the more it pushes it, the views helps us get it out there. It helps us to keep bringing you guys these shows for free. And we appreciate it. We know you guys love it. We're engaging. We're interacting with you in the chat, having a good time, but help us keep these shows free. Help us do more of these free shows. And all you have to do is click that little like button in the corner. And if you haven't yet, click that subscribe. JSU, carry on, my friend.
What's sad about this whole thing with our friend Christopher in chat here is that he is the person that I think for Showdown specifically, we are trying to get through to with the strategy piece. People pay us for this type of, because they want us to come on here and just affirm everything that they think in their head. This is the problem with content in general. And that's the issue is Chris came in thinking everyone was just going to say Cooper Kupp's the best play. And
Josh Allen's a great play too.
And Josh Allen's the best play as well. And then we affirmed that. And then he's like, okay, cool. These guys are great. But that's not how you should be playing Showdown anyways. And if you're listening to someone give you that advice, turn them the fuck off because you don't want to hear that.
Everyone knows these guys are good plays. How are you going to win doing that? Tambo, how many's in this field? 325 or something?
355,000 people tomorrow. They just want to build the same lineup.
You don't think people know that Cooper Kupp, spelled with a K, by the way, is a good freaking play? Are you kidding me? How are you going to get different?
Yeah, it's funny because Christopher's some random. He's already out, and that's fine. I know people think we drag this on. It's a free show. Who cares? But the point is more, we're trying. This is what we do with our shows, and what we try and talk about is, and I keep saying this, when people, if you're not on Run Pure Sports yet, get on and join because
Van Jefferson out, by the way.
Oh, there you go. We got the news. But I was going to say, Tony, and you've been on these shows and me talking about this. So, for you, it's hearing it again, but real players, real personalities, real proven strategies. RPS ain't just Run Pure Sports. We are putting our money in play on the stuff we say, and we're simplifying the slate for you to hopefully be able to do the same. It doesn't mean we're going to give you and feed you exactly what you want to hear. Don't come here for your confirmation bias. Come here to think outside the box with people that are putting real money and winning real money, by the way, over the years for a consistent basis. That's what the key is.
And that's why you hit the like button. And that's why you subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's why you use the promo code NFL15 to get 15% off your monthly subscription for life as long as you don't cancel. So that's it. That's the spiel. Back to the show. Sorry, Christopher. I wish I could help Christopher more. I seriously, I do mean that he's the people that I really want to talk to when it comes to Showdown. The funny part, though,
JSU, the funniest part about people like him, because we do get some occasionally in the chat too. He'd be the one when Kupp goes off tomorrow. Come on, I told you guys Cooper Kupp was going to go off.
Yeah.
Oh, no shit, Christopher. Congratulations. Show us your winnings. I'll pull the JSU like he always does to me. Well, send me the winning screenshot, that big boy. Let's see it then.
And then he sends me the winning screenshot, and I'll shut the fuck up. All right, that's it.
Van Jefferson out. We should talk about that. I think
I'm glad that happened while we were on, too, by the way. That's nice.
Makes for a good rest of the show. I actually had him clicked out already. I kind of expected it personally. So I already saw in the chat some 2-2 conversation. Our boy Bobby Gomes, Bobby G's in the chat. JSU, by the way, going to be doing Attorney Takes collaboration with Roto Grinders. So that's going to be cool, right? Got our boy Kirk D's on there with Bobby G and JSU. So that's a nice collab.
Is that what we call him, Bobby G? I like that.
That's what we're calling him now.
I love that.
I'm never calling him
Let's go, again. Bobby G.
I like calling him Bobby G. Bobby G.
Yeah,
Bobby
that's his new name for sure. Bobby G.
But yeah, I think there's going to be conversation now. A couple guys, Scow, right? That's going to come up. Atwell. And then I heard a little, this one won't get
All Rise.
Enough, but is it right now?
Well, JSU just you got to do it quicker than that. I expect more than that.
You know what? I apologize. I was reading someone's petition in chat to have Holden do all the free shows. I was like, wow, okay, Holden getting some love on the show. I like Holden love. I'm a fan of Holden. Continue though.
I'm good with it. I was just gonna say the only other. So we got to talk about it. It's going to be Scow, Atwell, and then I heard a little bit of love. I was saying on Twitter and stuff before the show on Bryson Hopkins as the $200 tight end for the Rams. So do what you want with that. I don't think he really. But it's 355,000 people. So if you want to go there, I wouldn't fault you. I'm not using them in captain or something. So go ahead, JSU. I just thought I'd bring that up.
Yeah, I mean, so I think really quickly there was two guys that people are going to want to know about, and it's the Tutu Atwell, who I'm pretty sure they didn't play him in preseason. I'm pretty sure Sean McVay had those quotes like he did enough in practice or whatever, so he didn't want to play him in the game. So that tells me that maybe he's progressing and maybe he's moving up in McVay's eyes a little bit to where he didn't have to play in the preseason. That was interesting to me. And then Skowronek, who we've seen in spot situations play a little bit. He's not like, he's not amazing in anything, in my opinion. I've watched him play. It's not something that like Matthew Stafford's going to lock in on him. He's still going to have, whoever this guy is. What do you got
against little white receivers?
I mean, I'm sorry, but I just watched him, and I don't care if he's white. I don't care what color he is. He's not good at football. I don't care. But I will say, though, whoever this guy is, they're the fifth option still, right? We got to remember it's Kupp, it's Robinson, it's Higbee, it's the running backs, and then it's the next guy. So we just got to keep that in mind. I don't want to go too crazy, but I would like Tutu Atwell if we got any news about him getting some run. And I could see them mixing it, right, Tambo, where it's not one guy the whole time.
Yeah, I think that's for sure. So again, if you're doing, an optimizer like SaberSim, you could set up that rule, right? So you're getting at most one of those guys and set it up that way if you want. And then at the same point you made was perfect that remember, these are like the fifth and sixth guys. Now, the key here is that they are going to be the ones that round out your roster to make other guys fit. And I don't know how popular, Atwell, Hopkins, like guys like this will get by the time we get to tomorrow, right? We're doing this a little bit early and the Van Jefferson news came out early. So it's kind of something to keep an eye on, but all it will do, we talked about earlier, it's going to just pull away a little bit from Isaiah McKenzie.
I'll tell you what it's going to do too, Tambo. Not that you wouldn't know it, but like Josh Allen and Kupp and Stafford and Diggs all get slightly higher too, just because you got another cheap couple pieces you can put in there.
Yeah, that's a great point, right? Looking at your builds and just seeing how easy that fits. That's where we talk about it all the time. We do it in golf. It's the same there, but for football, to keep it on track, it's like you end up with the same build. That's what I was talking earlier. If you put Isaiah McKenzie in the captain, most people with Isaiah McKenzie captain lineups now fit all the same dudes as you. So now
you're literally playing like a one-man tournament
or a 2v2 or like that is not how you're getting to $1 million or anywhere near a chop you're interested in. We can all I had a chop last year.
You brought up the best point though. Like even if you hit the nut, you're going to chop it a zillion ways.
Yeah. I'm not do what you want. It's just, I don't want to play for that. Again, if you've got, if you're playing within your means, it sounds bad or like cheesy or whatever, cliche, but the whole point would be, I don't want to play that way. So I'm just not going to build like that. I don't want the cheap captains to make that work. So if it gets there, it's likely going to be with a bigger chop. If you are going to play that way, and I wouldn't fault you for it, like I said, it's your money, it's your decision. I would really look at leaving a lot of salary on the table or taking your best version of that lineup with Cooper Kupp, cut him and put in Allen Robinson. Sorry, Christopher, but there's just another way where you could get rid of Kupp and pull someone in. You've got all that salary left on the table where most fill it out with Kupp. So that's
literally such a good way. What you just said, like perfect way.
For more uniques, less dupes.
Build the chalkiest team ever. We'll talk about this all season. Chalkiest team ever. Go from Kupp to Allen Robinson. You're immediately way different.
Yeah. On your dupe count, but like Christopher said, how could Kupp have a bad game? So
how could Allen Robinson ever outscore Cooper Kupp? How could it happen?
And I'm on board. Allen Robinson is definitely better than OBJ. Like
he has to be. There's no way he's not. Like he just has to be.
Matthew Stafford's going to make him look better too. I mean, think about it. He went from the Bears to the Rams with Matthew Stafford. He's going to be better, I think. But you guys talked about McKenzie being chalk. And one other thing I wanted to bring up, because one of my good buddies, JL000, he's a really good player if you don't know him, but huge Buffalo fan, absolute huge Buffalo fan, loves Buffalo Bills. And he was saying to me that he really believes that even though McKenzie is the third receiver, they're going to still mix Crowder in. It's not just going to be, he thinks Diggs and Gabe on the outsides are just going to play most of the game for sure.
I agree with
that. That inside, he said he could see McKenzie getting the first shot, but don't be shocked if Crowder came in and spelled him a little bit inside and Cook as well. You know what I mean? Because they could use Cook in different ways. So I'm just throwing that out there. I think McKenzie's a really good talent. I think he is very talented and can have big games for sure. But just something to note in Crowder, what's Crowder's ownership going to be?
Very little, right? Under 10%, even in the flex as of now. Again, it could go up some with the late conversation, but it won't be enough to matter. And in captain, it's like nothing. But at least from the perspective of flex, it does. I love that call, JSU, because obviously I know JL 003, I think it is. He's very sharp. But at the same time, the situation of roster construction, we don't talk about this enough. Everyone's putting in a Isaiah McKenzie, a Scow, an Atwell, a cheaper guy there. If you get not many, that means and everyone's putting in the expensive guys. We already talked about that. That means the mid-tier guys have to go somewhat overlooked. And that leaves you with guys like Crowder, like guys like Higbee, Knox, Henderson, the kickers. I'm just naming a few things, but I'm just saying there's guys that can put up points there in that mid-tier that most are going above and below and not as many showing up in the middle. So I love that Crowder call for sure.
Yeah, I love it too. Tony, what do you think about, some of those others, not just for the Rams, but for the Bills as well, like Crowder?
Yeah, I think Crowder might be the best play on the whole slate in tournaments because he's got all negative news all summer. Everybody's talked about McKenzie. But this is the thing with everyone doing best balls now and everyone being trendy. Yeah, we're in the bubble, but the bubble's getting bigger and bigger with news with these best balls and ESPN and everything else that's just churning out news. Basically, everyone knows similar. Everyone's doing a season long with their buddies or their family or best ball. Everyone has similar news to start the year. So we need to use that against other people, knowing that they know, like everyone thinks McKenzie's so sharp right now. Oh, he's going to crush. And I don't disagree. I think he's going to have a big year too. But everyone's down on Crowder. Crowder's 2,600 more than McKenzie. Crowder's a veteran. I wouldn't be stunned at all if Crowder had a bigger role than, and McKenzie's still a gadget player. Crowder's more of a possession type guy. Crowder's not going to go off for long touchdowns, but he could catch 6 balls for 60 yards and maybe he scores twice or something. There's tons of scenarios for that. I think he's one of the best plays, maybe the most contrarian play on the whole slate outside of the running backs. I still agree with you guys, especially the Rams side. I don't remember which one of you guys said it to start the show, but they have to want to slow Buffalo down a little bit. I just think these running backs from the Rams side especially are just so good of plays where it gets you off the cup chalk just a little bit. Sorry, Christopher. But it lets you get off that a little. You could even play them together. If Akers gets it going or Henderson or even, we're playing a 360,000 man field, even like a Kyron Williams as the third guy where who knows? Lots of stuff happens in these games. When we do these shows all the time, we'll talk about this for an hour and a half. Tomorrow night, some guy will score a touchdown we didn't even talk about the whole show. And it happens all season long and you just don't see it coming. And when that random guy, when Kyron Williams comes in the game and gets a 70-yard touchdown, you will have a chance to win $1 million because of it. Sure, most of the time he gets 0 and it's not going to do anything for you. But what happens when he does? That's what people should be looking at more. And that's what I want to sell people with Showdown. Don't look at what happens if it goes wrong. Look what happens if you're right, and maybe you get a little lucky. Maybe Henderson rolls an ankle, or again, I'm not rooting for injury. I'm just throwing the scenarios that happen throughout the year. What happens when Akers gets hurt? And all of a sudden, first drive of the game, Akers rolls an ankle. Kyron Williams immediately goes from third string to second string, and he gets some work. Who knows? All of a sudden, you got a 1% owned guy that's 1,400, which is also, what does it do? Pivots off McKenzie and the Rams receivers, same price range, 1% owned. You could even do that. Build the best possible McKenzie team. Pivot to Kyron Williams. Little pivots like that. Yeah, well, and you know what the positive is, too, that we talk about a lot? Say Kyron Williams gets 0. That's not going to be why you lose money on the slate. Yeah, you're not going to ship with him at 0 most times because all these cheap guys aren't busting. 1 or 2 of them are going to get there. But if he gets 0, that's not going to be why you lose. Sure, if you play Josh Allen and he sucks, you'll probably lose. But if you play a 1,400 guy and he gets 0, that is not going to be why you lose. I promise you. No, that will not be why.
Yeah, and one quick note on that, just like that added piece, like leaving the money and doing that. Someone just said in the chat, I forgot about this. Remember last season, those backup tight ends were just absolutely crushing. And listen to this. You got Isaiah McKenzie in your lineup. You've been waiting all game for him to do something. He does nothing for you. You're sweating it at the very end of the game, but now what? They end up 10 yards to the end zone. He ain't that guy. But maybe Tommy Sweeney is. Maybe Tommy Sweeney catches that 10. You're hoping that it's McKenzie, but McKenzie's not likely to get that little 10-yard touchdown. It's likely Diggs or Davis or Knox. But what if they run it for a fake and switch off Knox and it's Sweeney, and that's for the $1 million to end the game? Game-winning touchdown, Tommy Sweeney. I'm just saying. Things like that.
Tambo's always got the good takes. Tommy, so they just cut OJ Howard because of Tommy Sweeney. I don't think OJ Howard's good, but it at least shows a vote of confidence for Tommy Sweeney. All last year, the second tight ends. There's something to be said for guaranteed 1% ownership or less on showdown format, especially in like Josh Allen captain teams. We were talking about Josh Allen captain, right? What happens when you jam Josh Allen all 150 teams? You know who's a great damn play? Tambo, just Tommy Sweeney. You play Tommy Sweeney, and we saw it all last year. When he catches a touchdown and gets 9 fantasy points, you could win $1 million with that 9 points. You don't need 20 from Tommy Sweeney. You need a touchdown, 2 catches, and 10 yards.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. And it's the funniest part, though, is at the end of the game when the people have that lineup with McKenzie in it, they're sweating him to catch a touchdown he's so unlikely to catch, to then split it with hundreds of people or thousands. When it's like
that's
Tommy
the best
Sweeney
point too. You see like the 200-man train with McKenzie, and maybe they're ahead of you, right, Tambo? Because maybe he gets a couple catches. Yeah. They're ahead of you, but you're sitting with only like 2 Tommy Sweeneys. And he probably won't catch a touchdown, but when he catches a touchdown, you go above all those teams.
200 people picked heads on the coin flip, and you're the one person that picked tails. Tommy Tails Sweeney, and you got it ready to flip that coin and take that $1 million right from them of whatever their little chop was, and you're hopping up to the top with you and very few, if any at all, to take all the money. So I love stuff like that when I'm building up my lineups.
It's the exact way you should be building showdown lineups, especially when you're playing in those Millie Maker formats.
I love that. That Tommy Sweeney might be the best take of the whole show. I really like that.
Yeah.
The people that are watching us for the first time, though, are like, these guys are telling us to fade Cooper Kupp, play Tommy Sweeney. They're like, well, we're not paying for that product.
Yeah, nice Kevin said this feels pretty premium, and this is literally game 1 of the season. There's all these Thursday night games. This crew's going to be together doing this. We always have a good time doing it, and we come up with all these little things, and then we tack on the next day or later in the day all the stuff over on Run Pure Sports that's premium, so you get even more of that. And we're in the Discord too. There's not a 1 hour ask me anything today or tomorrow. We're in the Discord whenever you want it. You tag us, we get to it as soon as possible. But I can tell you, and I'm sure the members in the chat can as well right now, that it's not a long time before you get a response, and we're on top of it trying to help you make these decisions down the stretch.
None of this like, JSU is going to be in the Discord from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. today. Oh, Tambo on Friday is going to be in the Discord from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m.
I might be in there 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. depending on
Saturday hoops in there from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. No, we're in the damn Discord. None of that stuff with these other sites where we're in there for an hour. We're in there, all sports. We're in there grinding with you.
Yeah. And not just us too. We got a lot of sharp members that are in there all the time. We got good, really sharp players that just come in and are in our Discord. They don't get paid. They're not working for us. They're just in our Discord. And, it's just a good community. It's a good community to be a part of. And a lot of stuff happens in Discord, a lot of, late news that drops, and we change things and we update in the Discord as well. We get notifications out for all the content that we have over at Run Pure Sports. So the Discord is very key and vital to the membership. It's probably the best thing that we offer is honestly the Discord, with how many sharp people and all the messages and notifications and the access that you have to us, like these guys said. Tony?
Oh, I mean, I was just
you're laughing and smiling. Yeah. So you gotta give us something.
Twitter. I was laughing at Twitter this time because that GIF with Bill Gates and the owner of the Clippers. I forget what's the owner of the Clippers name.
Steve,
yeah, Ballmer, Steve Ballmer.
Yeah.
One of the most underrated gifts is that one with all of them in their terrible outfits dancing around at the like, it's just so good. I just seen someone tweeting about it. Says 46.6 million American adults betting on the NFL season, and then that gif, just pure gold.
So good. All right. I think we hit on a lot of the just players in general.
Kickers too. I think kickers is a point because I think we play kickers more than most of the other sites in the industry. Tomorrow's another perfect example. You got scoring, you got inside. I don't know if it's actually inside, but great weather inside. I think it's maybe air circulates through there or something, but two good kickers, good teams, good offenses, indoors, perfect kicking spots. Both kickers should be very, very good plays tomorrow and just perfect fillers, right? I mean, I know Hoop almost shipped a few times last year, kicker heavy. I've always been kicker heavy. We're just pro kickers, and you can argue not to play them both together because of upside. But, man, when these kickers get like 15 early in the season, too, this is another thing we haven't talked about. And, again, with us three on, we could sit here and talk for freaking hours about this stuff. But kickers early in the season, it's going to be sloppier than we think. It happens every single year. The starters don't play in preseason that much anymore. The first 3-4 weeks will be sloppy. So don't think they're going to come out and just like go absolutely nuts, every play perfect. What's that mean? More field goal attempts and not another one.
All rise.
Another one?
I just said it.
Yeah.
You missed it. I just
hit one. How could he hit one that quick? It's got to be the same one.
I don't know.
Another
Jenna just said in chat.
Wow.
See, I beat you to it this time. The first time I was slow. Second time
like
you weren't on the ball.
Have we been talking that long? He's already up again. Like, man.
Yes, we've been talking.
Probably. You just said that. We could definitely talk longer. But
But to expand on your kicker point, these are two pretty solid kickers too. If you look at these guys, Gay, he had a very consistent season, and if you just look at his point total from a showdown perspective, these guys were very good and double digit slates too with both these guys. So Bass, Gay, they're both solid kickers that could get you double digit points. And man, when that kicker gets you 12 or 15 somehow and they outscore.
Judge didn't get out of here. Judge didn't hit another one. Come on, whoever said that. There was a no.
Who made me do a fake
false all rise? He was just up. I was like, there's no way he hit another one. We didn't talk that much. It just happened.
I thought we talked pretty long since then, though. It
literally just happened where I said all rise. It wasn't that long ago.
We're talking about Aaron Judge. If anyone could do it, that would be.
I didn't totally not believe it, but I had to at least look. And of course, they only got one run.
All right,
Jenna Sandy. She put us on the wrong track there, but we'll forgive her. We're very forgiving guys. We love it. We would love to see another one, but it was the original that she was referencing. So that's okay.
Yep. But you like that. Maybe she likes the JSU all rise. Maybe she
might have wanted to get a little peel down low after.
Peek on the way up.
Yeah.
Okay. I am married though, Jenna. Sorry. So recently married. So
just recently married. Yeah.
But appreciate it. All right. So the chat, it's killing me. So we talked about kickers. The one thing we didn't talk about was defenses, and it's a perfect segue because I wanted to talk FanDuel anyways, and I think FanDuel added defenses. Am I crazy? Did they did, right?
That's a good point. They added defense. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about that real quick because FanDuel in general is a little different. So let's kind of get a little FanDuel strategy talk in here. We'll hit on the defenses just when we talk FanDuel. But Tambo, why don't we go to you first and just kind of like your overall FanDuel strategy because it is a little different than DK.
Yeah, we talked about it a lot last season. So for those that are new here, for sure, it's a different game altogether in the case that usually that, on DraftKings, because full point PPR, the bonuses, all those factors, it's very easy for someone's wide receiver to beat their quarterback because of that. It racks up so much quicker. The quarterback, is passing it to all these different guys, maybe not getting the 300-yard bonus, but just because they have the 1 or 2 touchdowns, if they're the same person or something, they can just crush them. Whereas on FanDuel, those points matter so much more because it's all set up that way where the MVP, it's better for quarterbacks. So I think that's where Allen is going to be extremely popular tomorrow, and for good reason. He makes perfect sense. I think a couple things. One, if you can get behind my run heavy script on either side of the ball, that'll definitely be one of the things I talk about in the slate plan. It goes with what Big T said earlier. If we get a sloppier first game of the season in any way, shape, or form, and we've got running backs, tight ends, and kickers getting more involved, that's going to be a way to be unique on this slate no matter what. But that'll really play well on FanDuel because, again, like that MVP slot, if you've got the running back in there that goes for 2 touchdowns, that's probably huge in comparison to what the quarterback may or may not do. So I think that's key. A guy like Cooper Kupp, whereas on DraftKings, Christopher wants him to rack up 10 catches for 150 yards and a touchdown. It's worth a lot still on FanDuel, but it's not worth the same. You don't get the full 10 points for the catches. You don't get the bonus for the 100 yards. So, I mean, there's definitely a big difference when it comes to that. So I think focusing on the running backs, the quarterbacks on FanDuel would be the key, with Allen being the preferred and then using 2 pass catchers with them. I know you don't have to with Allen because he can run them in. Maybe that's the way to get unique, but usually that's the way I want to do it. And then secondly, run heavy script over there would play quite well, I think. So I like that for tomorrow, and something like the $9 also.
Yeah, the Josh Allen, captain or MVPs on FanDuel, going to be very popular, right? That him and Cup are going to be very popular, and then probably Stafford just because another quarterback. I will say, if you're looking to be different, everyone plays Josh Allen with 2 pass catchers. But Tambo, you talked about it. Yeah. His rushing upside is what can kind of not let those lineups with 2 pass catchers work. Josh Allen maybe runs in one, he throws maybe 1 or 2, but maybe they're 2 to the same person. And then maybe he throws one of the running backs. I think the way you get unique, if you're playing Josh Allen, play 2 running backs with Josh Allen. Play a friggin' run-heavy script because, listen, James Cook can catch the ball. We've seen Devin Singletary catch the ball. Play that type of build. I try not to give away like the entire build, but that is a way to get unique. No one is playing Josh Allen with both running backs on his team. And listen, who's to say that Josh Allen doesn't rush in 2 and they score 4 touchdowns, maybe one's to one of the other running backs? Like, that is a very plausible possibility that could happen tomorrow night. And with the running script, I just think it's going to be unique. So that's the way we're trying to build, especially for FanDuel. If you're playing Josh Allen captains, if you're playing Cup captains, you really have to worry about the unique style of your team. Now, if you're playing, I don't know, Gabe Davis or Devin Singletary or Cam Akers, well, they're going to be a lot less owned in that MVP spot. So you still need to worry about the unique, but not as much as if you're playing like the top 2 or 3 guys, which Josh Allen will be. So I think that's just one thing to hit on. Tony, what do you got here for FanDuel?
Yeah, I like how different FanDuel is just with the way you construct. They didn't change anything with that, right? It's still no salary adjustment, right? It's still the same.
Yeah, it's just they added. I don't know why they added defense.
I'm glad they did, though. It makes it way easier as far as content because you always had to like build slightly. Not this game as much, but some of those games.
No, I just don't. I mean, like, I don't know what the change was, like what the effect for the change was. But yeah.
But yeah, I was going to say, I think FanDuel, more than people give it credit for, you have a chance to solo ship more so than DK. And I've taken advantage a ton. These guys talked about it. Josh Allen is just going to be outrageously high owned in the MVP. And like Christopher screaming at the thing, like he's the best, you got to do it. We all agree. He's probably going to score the most points. But he's also going to be half the field. It's really hard to get different playing him, which is fine. There's tons of slate on FanDuel where I would do what JSU said. Jam him in there, get different playing running backs, leave salary. The same thing we talked about on the other, build the best Cup team, go down to Allen Robinson. Those are all strategies you can use. But if you're playing like 2 teams, 1 team, which a lot of people will, 2, 3 teams on these showdowns, I think they're the best possible thing on FanDuel because literally all you got to do, play Gabe Davis in the MVP, play Allen Robinson in the MVP. When they score 3 touchdowns and they're the highest scoring guy, you have a chance to win all the freaking money. I'm talking whatever 500K, whatever first place is tomorrow. Massive amounts. Just
1 million.
1 million on FanDuel too?
Yeah.
Oh man. So like So just saying a blanket here, because I usually talk to the 150 people, and honestly, there's probably not that many 150 people that watch. Most people probably play 3 to 10 teams, I would assume, on these slates. If you're doing that tomorrow, $1 million the first, $9 on FanDuel, don't play Josh Allen up there. Take a stand on someone. Take a stand on Gabe. Take a stand on these running backs. Maybe it's a damn – I talked about the game playing ugly, right? We always talk about different scripts. Pretend it's a freaking 9-6 game. Do we think it'll happen? Absolutely not. But could it happen? Yes. And what happens when it is? What happens when you play kickers and defenses and Josh Allen or something and just hope it's a super ugly game? No one will have that path. And yeah, are you probably going to lose your $50 or whatever you put in? Probably. But you know what? When you go to the movies, you spend $50 and you lose it. You don't go home with anything. When you go to dinner with the family, you spend $100. You don't come home with anything. What's the difference? If you're a casual player trying to have fun and trying to have huge ups, and people bet the games too, put $50 on the Rams. What's the difference? Put $50, pretend you're going to lose because you probably will doing it this way. I'm just being honest with you. But when you do hit the script, you'll have a chance to turn your 50 into $1 million. And you can't do that with any of that other stuff. Play it aggressively, enjoy it. And you could even do it. So this is the safer way, what I would actually recommend. Do half of your money that way and do the other half. Play it safe. Play like Christopher. Put it in there with the best possible team. And then you got both ways. And Tambo's the absolute best with this, maybe in the entire industry. Go 2 different ways. Super aggressive with half. It doesn't even have to be half. Maybe 70% safe, 30% super, and pretend you're going to light that money on fire because honestly, you probably will building that way. But when you're right, you can win $1 million on what would be better in life? I won $1 million at golf. It was awesome.
I was going to say, why don't we ask you?
Nothing would be better in life.
Ask me at Tambo, Tony. Come on, give us the
Thursday night to start NFL football, a $9 tournament on FanDuel. I mean, what would be better than solo shipping that shit to start the NFL season? Nothing better, I promise you.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything that would be better than solo ship, especially on FanDuel. Solo shipping any site.
First night of the NFL season, too. Like, just pull out the schlong and just show it to everybody.
I'll tell you too, if you do that, it takes so much of an out of the box thinking to be able to solo ship, especially on any site, but on FanDuel especially. So that's the way you got to think. I think that's the way Tony's kind of talking about.
And it takes pressure off too, JSU. Another positive, treat it just like I said. Treat it like you're going to the movie. It takes the pressure off of like trying to everything to fall into place. Just pretend you're going to lose it. You're having fun with it. You're taking a contrarian stance. And you know what? If you freaking lose, you lose. It's not like you're putting your mortgage money up. Don't do that. We're not saying to do that. It's your fun money. It's your movies money, your dinner money, your all that shit. Just put that in there and have fun.
It's your entertainment money. This is entertainment. This is for you to go home.
I can promise you one thing. You're going to be entertained if you're in the mix with that $9 at the end. I'll tell you that.
You might be sweating and have slightly have a heart attack, possibly if you're up there. But Hey, listen, it's a great sweat. It's a great feeling. We've all had chances. We've all been up towards the top, chances for big money, and there's no other feeling like that. Like literally, there's not much that I can say. Oh, this is like sweating out a monster payday in DFS,
especially Showdown, because it could change so fast. Like the Tommy Sweeney from Tambo. I'm going to keep throwing it out there.
The one.
Like seriously though, tomorrow, like I know I keep saying it, I'm getting excited because it's football season, but if I promised you like with 30 seconds left in the game, you need any Kyron Williams, Sweeney, any of just the biggest scrubs I could come up with active, but all you need is them to catch a touchdown and you win $1 million. Who wouldn't sign up for that? Give me a chance, a defensive score, maybe a defensive score wins it for you $1 million. Like all of us would take that and run for the freaking hills.
Yeah,
100%.
I would take it for sure, and I'd love to be on that side of it. That's how I build it. I want to be in that spot, even if I am coming from behind. It's whatever. It's a great spot to be in when you know it's not going to be a 200-300 way chop or something like that. And you actually have a chance. So that's the best feeling, and that's what I want to build for.
All right. And Tony, all I want to say is that I am not the reason why this show is going an hour and a half. I am not for one time in a show, it is not my fault that we're going an hour and a half. And Jenna, you do not have to apologize in the chat for anything. You're good. No one has to apologize. We're all cool here. Like Tambo said,
Christopher doesn't even have to apologize.
Yeah, literally. We don't care. We don't care. So if he came back and said, my bad, we're good, we wouldn't even care. We just come back in and chill out. Like, don't worry about it. We're just trying to have fun. We're trying to win some money. But really the important thing is we're trying to have fun. We're trying to, give you guys some good content and maybe entertain you guys a little bit. Tony says some ridiculous things. Tambo puts it back in check, with the correct and sharp things. And then I'll just kind of fuddle my way through the show for an hour and a half. So that's how we do it. Last thing, and then we'll get out of here, guys.
Come on, Ike. I got to give Ike shit because I've been getting the chat. I mean, you can't come in and say Van Jefferson out 25 minutes after we said it.
Maybe Ike just joined the show. And Ike, if you did just join the show, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button at the bottom right-hand corner. NFL 15,
Ike's
the
a
promo.
regular.
Ike's always in here.
Maybe he
Tory J, you can fade anyone you want. Can you fade Cup and Diggs? The number one lesson you should learn from this show today, you can fade anybody in Showdown, but have a reason for why you're doing it.
Number one lesson might have to be spelling soon because nobody can ever get
No, we're not doing that on this show.
I like that.
Yeah.
No.
JSU would hate that.
Yeah.
JSU would be fired in no time from he'd be out of the Showdown show if he had to go based on spelling.
If Sites fired you for your spelling or anything like that, I'd be out. So I'd be the easiest out ever. Yeah, I'd be gone. One sentence, I'd be out.
Oh man.
Love it.
All right. Tony, I just wanted to get your stance on the defenses because I know you talk kickers.
Yeah.
The defenses are going to be an interesting thing. If you think that there's a possibility for a blowout, you may think there's a possibility of defenses in the winner, right?
So defenses, we had a love-hate relationship. Was it last year or the year before?
Last year. Yeah.
Oh, it was last year.
I have a hard time with them. But again, like the story of this show, I can make a case for them too, especially like the Rams side. Like no one's going to play this defense. And it basically falls into the same bucket for me as Sweeney and these like bad plays. I think the defenses are pretty bad plays, but the positives are no preseason really anymore for these guys. So I think it'll play ugly. The ownership is crazy low. We saw our man Whistles last year play a quarterback, Josh Allen, for example, tomorrow. No one will play him with the Rams D, who still has a lot of playmakers that can get a sack, go to the house. Again, the same freaking example I just made. If there's a minute left in the game and you know all you need is a Rams defensive touchdown, same exact example Tambo gave too. Maybe all the McKenzie teams are right ahead of you, but you got the Rams D, and all you need is a pick six or a strip six. Oh God, what am I trying to say? What do they call that?
Pick six? Scoop
no, like when they sack them, what's it called? The sack them and
strip sack?
Yeah, but it's called something like
sack fumble.
No, I can't think of what I'm trying to say. Something in a sick, like a six.
In a blanket.
Pick
in a blanket. Let's go to the golf term. In a blanket, if I use that.
Strip sack is what
Strip sack.
Block said it too.
But it's something with a six, though, like something to take it for six. Like, it doesn't matter. Whatever. The point being, I just think they're super contrarian, and all year long, I think they're a good play. Even when you like, I really like the Bills tomorrow. I'll have some Rams D just for how unique I get. Like we talked about it all of last year. Even if you're doing 5-1 Bills and you think the Bills will blow them out, do you know how unique a Rams D is in a build like that, where all it takes is a punt return to the house, a kick to the house, anything to the house, and that all you have to do is outscore all those cheap pieces, and you're ahead of all of them. So, love it.
Strip six.
Tambo, you got anything for the defenses? You got any love there?
I do. Yeah. I'm like I said, first of all, I know projections aren't putting them in at all. So like I said, everyone just has this game going 60, 70 points, but we've seen
scoop
it before.
And score. I think that's what I like.
Scoop and score was what I said first. And then I said strip sack. It was one of the two, but either way.
I confused myself. I'm with you now.
I digress. We'll get back on track.
I like that word too. I digress from the video. Tambo always knows all the lines. He knows the
Tambo's got the words. He's got the lines.
That's
He's
your
got
boy,
it all.
Russ
I digress. That's
Russ
he always
Hanneman.
got it.
Russ Hanneman, your boy,
Yeah.
but I digress. Big T. And then he goes back into it. You know our favorite video when you ship the giblets. So that's where it comes from. But yeah, back to your question, JSU. I know we got to get out of here. The D's, for me, again, people aren't playing them. They fit in well with my running backs that I've been talking about and going with. So it'll all be on the site. We'll go in with it there. But like Big T said, another great point. A way to get different, use the defense against a guy that's popular, where it's Josh Allen. That's why if Josh Allen's going to be 20% or 15% at captain and 60 to 70% owned on the slate or more, then most people won't have a Rams D, but you can just play Rams D against him. They get a few, sacks, they pull him down, a few things like that, maybe a lucky pick or something like that. And it doesn't kill them, but it still adds to their points. While everyone else needs these value receivers who are the 5th and 6th and 7th options to just get the ball once, and it may not happen. So I love that type of stuff. And I think it's definitely a good way to do it for sure.
Yeah, I love it. I love this. We do have to get out of here, though, because we do have an MLB show because we're still doing MLB content. DC's heading it up. DC will be doing all the up to lock and MLB shows going forward with all our guys. I think Hoop's on today with DC and Holden, so make sure you check them out next. And don't forget, hit the like button on your way out. We're going to have all our cores, Tony's player pool, Tambo's slate plan attack, the playbook. Everything's going to be out tomorrow for this showdown show, and all the content for the rest of the slates this week for the main slate. We're going to have full player pools where me and Tony will put down pretty much a quarterback list, running back list, wide receiver list, tight ends, defense of all the guys we're looking at on the slate. And then we'll have our core plays, which are just our, 5 or 6 favorite plays for the slate on each site, FanDuel, DraftKings. I think we both have Yahoo as well. So we'll be giving away our top plays with those core plays. And then same thing with Tambo and everyone else on the crew. Pretty much everyone's going to have a core. So you can go check out whoever you like to follow. It doesn't matter. You like DC, you like Hoop, Mangone, Tambo, AP, the whole crew, Big T, we got them all. So make sure you get over to Rumpier, check it out. NFL 15 is the promo code. Get in now, 15%, as long as you don't cancel for life of your subscription. And you can add Saber with that. So Saber Sim as well, one of the best optimizers in the business. Check them out. But that's going to do it for me, JSU, Toe Tag and Tambo, and Big T. Good luck tomorrow in your showdown contest. Simon, wrap us up.